Life flows on the river of purpose. We're all carried by the uncertainty of its own unfolding. Chasing purpose is all about nurturing faith, setting intentions, pursuing aspirations, all while living boldly. Chasing Purpose aims to inspire, uplift, and empower people through real life stories. Stories that encapsulate life's memorable moments and enduring life lessons. Chasing Purpose with host Syntheshe.
Life can be unpredictable. Life is filled with obstacles and challenges, and regardless of who you are in this world, we all have experienced some difficult and trying times. On our purpose journey, we are bound to encounter obstacles before accomplishing our goals. You will face hardships and suffer your fair share of pain before you achieve your goals. John Maxwell says, everything worthwhile is uphill. When everything seems to be going wrong, the question is, how will you defy the odds? Will you give up or will you keep going? Persist and keep fighting past the hurdles and obstacles? If your goals are fueled by purpose, then giving up is never an option. You'll find the courage and persistence to look past the problems and difficulties along your path and instead focus on defying your odds. It's often said that God gives the strongest soldiers the hardest battles. Welcome to Chasing Purpose, a journey of self-development, self-healing, and spirituality. We aim to empower and uplift you through thought-provoking conversations surrounding our 4 pillars: nurturing faith, pursuing aspirations, setting intentions, all while living boldly. On last week's show, we were joined by entertainment executive and television and film producer Odessa Chambers, who shared great insights on the topic, finding your voice. Here is this week's Purpose Pull.
It's important. It's important to be uniquely and authentically yourself.
Yes.
I shall never dim my voice. I shall always talk the things and be true. And if people don't like it, they can lump it.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chasing Purpose with Syntheshe Clark. There you will find our episodes and also join our community, purposeiswithin.com. Today we look at the topic of defying the odds, and we are joined by heart disease advocate, media practitioner, and communications consultant, Miss Abi-Gaye Smythe. Abby, and by the way, guys, get your pens, get your journals. Gems are going to be dropped. Grab your Kleenex because this is one, yeah. Abby!
Hi.
Hi, Abby.
Hi.
You're beautiful, you know that.
Thank you.
Quite gorgeous. And she has a great spirit, by the way, guys. All right, so we're talking about defying the odds. This is something that you do every day.
Every single day.
Off camera, we were talking about so much, and I hope that we can get everything on camera. But let's start with sharing your journey. You have arrhythmogenic right ventricular dysplasia. Dysplasia. Yeah. And that's the acronym is ARVD. Break that down for us.
Okay, so in layman's term, it's a rare and progressive heart disease. In the beginning, it was thought to affect only the right side of the heart, but it actually affects the entire heart. So in my case, my heart beats very rapid and irregular to the point where it can send me to cardiac arrest at any time. My right ventricular wall is not as it should be. My right ventricle doesn't function as it should. My heart is slightly enlarged and I have 2 leaking valves. And according to science of this condition, as I get older, it's going to get worse.
All right. A lot offloaded there. You can go into cardiac arrest at any given time.
Any given time.
When did you find out you had this disease?
Well, I was having signs and symptoms since I was like 7 years old, but I wasn't given an official diagnosis until I was 19 years old. It started in grade 3. I was in primary school playing, typical kid. Came in one day after lunch and I told my teacher that my heart is racing and I'm still tired when everyone else was rested. And she put her hand on my chest, she felt my heart and she said, this isn't right. She wrote a note to my mom advising her to take me to see a doctor. My mom did. So the very next day, we went to see a doctor who sent me to another doctor, who sent me to another doctor. So by this time, I was all the way in Kingston from Manchester, and we saw a cardiologist, and he just listened to my heartbeat and said, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. Throughout the years, symptoms continued.
What were the symptoms?
My heart would race all the time, easily tired, chest pains, and I'd feel like my heart is skipping beats. Yes, so that's palpitations. I'd get those a lot. By the time I got to grade 6, I ended up at the doctor again, and this time I was diagnosed with a severe anxiety disorder.
Nothing to do with your heart, but anxiety. That's what they thought was causing the heart.
Yeah, especially because I was scared all the time. I had a lot of fears. I was paranoid, so they thought it was an anxiety disorder. Unfortunately, my mom passed, turned out to be from the same heart disease. And years after that, my symptoms got worse. They just progressively got worse. And by the time I was 19 and I started university, the symptoms got so bad, they almost killed me a couple times.
All right, let's hold on right there. So you said your mom passed. At what age were you?
I was 9 and I was 9 going 10. She was 39 when she died.
And she died of what?
Arrhythmogenic right ventricular dysplasia.
Okay. So you lost your mom at a very young age, at 9, right? Later on in life, you found out it was due to the very same thing that you had.
Yeah.
Was it ever discussed with you at around that age that your mom had a heart disease?
No, not directly. I knew that something was wrong with her heart, but she didn't sit with us as a family to say, okay, I have this condition, or maybe she thought I was too young, so it wasn't discussed with me like that. I just knew that when she died, there was a lot of misconceptions because she died suddenly, so it wasn't until maybe about 2-3 years after she died, I went to my dad's room and I looked at her death certificate and I saw what the cause of death was. And by this time I was in high school, so I went on a computer, went to Google, and I read what it was. Yeah.
How did you cope with your mom's death at 9?
It was so hard. I had a lot of questions. At 9 years old, I was thinking, okay, who's going to comb my hair? Who am I going to sleep with at night when my dad is away on farm work? Who am I going to sing with? Like, who's going to take care of me? I'm motherless now, And it was hard to deal with, So after she died, I ended up living with my grandmother.
Okay, God bless Grandma. And I'm sorry for your loss. So now we're 19. We get this diagnosis.
Yes.
And when we get the diagnosis, we're now saying, wait a minute, Mom had this very same thing. What actions, when you got the diagnosis, what actions did you put into place?
Okay, first things first, when I did that first test, the cardiologist was so honest. She didn't hide behind any bush. When I did the first test, she looked me dead in the face and she said, Abby, you have the same heart condition that killed your mother. And when she said that, it's like time stood still, like the tears just were right there. Yeah, and I remember my cousin was there with me. She was my main support system at the time, and she said, we always knew something was wrong. Don't cry. Everything is going to be okay. You're going to be fine. We ended up doing a lot of tests after that. We had to repeat some of the tests just to be sure. I was tried and tested with a lot of different medication to see if it could be treated with medication. That wasn't the case. So medication didn't work, so the next best solution was to get surgery done. And when my cardiologist sought second and third opinions, the second opinion was that nothing is wrong with me, I'm fine, it's just stress. So I'm saying, how can I be stressed from I was 7 years old until I was 19? I had nothing to worry about as a kid, you know, other than the fact that I missed my mom.
Right, right.
Yeah, so she sought a third opinion. So that third opinion looked through the same file, same docket, same test results, same notes, same everything, and said, you have a condition called arrhythmogenic right ventricular dysplasia. The next time your heart races, you can go into cardiac arrest and you can die. What you need right now is a device called an implantable cardioverter defibrillator. It costs $15,500 US, and you need to get it as soon as possible. Otherwise, you might die.
I mean, how do you even sit with, at 19, someone saying to you, you might die? When we come back, we're gonna hear that very answer from the very brave and I think a walking miracle, Abi-Gaye Smythe, right here on Chasing Purpose. Welcome back to Chasing Purpose. Today we are talking about defying the odds. We went to break. We're talking about getting some serious news at 19. By the way, this is Abi-Gaye Smythe, heart disease advocate, who's joining us today, and as we talk about defying the odds. So at 19, you get this news. At 19, the average 19-year-old is hormones are raging, everything I go on, we're jumping from job to job, we're traveling, whatever we're doing at 19. Trying to figure out this thing called life. But you're handed almost like a sentence, right? What do you do at this point?
At this point, also, I was in university. I think I had completed my first year. Yeah, completed my first year, but within that year was the same time I had to be missing classes and exams to be traveling to Kingston to the clinic to get my tests done and consultations and all of that. So I was way behind in school as well with a 1.98 GPA, I think. So I was on the verge of being kicked out of school.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
But did you explain to school what was happening, or were they able to accommodate you?
In the beginning, I didn't inform them. It was when they saw my grades were so bad, I got called to the chair's office, and she said I am being placed on academic probation and I might get kicked out of school. That's when I broke down and I told her everything. Yeah, but they were accommodating, you know. I got the chance to resit exams and to retake some of the courses. But when my doctor told me that I could die, I honestly, I was scared because my mom died suddenly. So I'm thinking at any point in time, I can die. I'm just 19. I'm not ready.
And at this age now, as you get this information, are you putting two and two together? Like, wait, this is the same thing that mom died from? Mentally, physically, emotionally, what is going through your mind?
Well, when my doctor explained the condition to me, he told me the adjustments that I needed to make. So even before my very first surgery, he told me that my life will change. And I didn't think much of it until I did that first surgery, and we got the device and it was implanted April 5th, 2012. And that's when I saw that my life was really going to change. One of my biggest dreams was to become a dancer, and I had to give that up because with my condition, I can't be as active as the normal person or active as I used to be. So that was a major change. I had to cut certain things out of my diet, so no excess fatty food, excess fried food, no caffeine, and I had to be taking supplements now to help my heart in any way possible. I had to be dependent on medications now, and I hated taking pills.
Right.
So I had to be depending on that now. There were just a lot of changes that I had to make, and I had to make them so suddenly.
Right.
Yeah, because after my first surgery, because I've never done a surgery before prior to April 5th, 2012. And I remember being so scared going into that operating theater. I was so scared. I begged God. I said, God, please let me come out of this alive.
Yeah.
I even remember saying to my doctor, please, as it finished, just wake me up. Don't make me dead, please. Yeah, and I made it out of the surgery. As soon as I woke up in the recovery room, I asked him to take me back to the ward. And I remember being in so much pain after that first surgery. But the surgery was done. They cut me here, but I was feeling the pain here, and I knew something just wasn't right. I was feeling the pain for the entire day, and I couldn't breathe properly.
All right, so let's back up really quickly. When you got the device, you had the device placed here. And for those who I say here, because I'm thinking everybody can see this, but those that are in radio land are listening to this, this is on your right side, above your heart, left side rather.
Yeah.
And the device is what is the name of the device?
Implantable cardioverter defibrillator.
So it's a defibrillator.
Yeah.
And what was the education they were giving you? Now at 19, this thing is being placed inside, this foreign object is being placed inside of you. What was the education that they were giving you around it?
Well, when I first did the surgery, when I just came out of surgery and I recovered, I was given a manual, a literal manual, my do's and don'ts. This is a mechanical device.
Right.
It's titanium. So there are a lot of restrictions now. I am affected by cell phones, loudspeakers, chainsaws, jackhammers, drills, handheld massagers. I trigger alarms.
So life is just kind of turned upside down.
Listen, the first time I traveled after getting this device, I was treated like a terrorist because I triggered the alarm in the airport. I was taken to a special room and pat down and finger tested for explosives and all that excitement.
Wow.
Yeah. So in addition to what they told me, I did my own research. So I was on Google reading like crazy and trying to find other people with the same condition. I couldn't really find anybody, especially here in Jamaica because the condition is so rare. So I was reading, and even while I was in the hospital, after the first surgery, I was on my little BlackBerry and Google, you know, reading and stuff like that. But the day after that very first surgery, we found out that my lungs had collapsed. And that is why I was having the pain and I couldn't breathe properly. So this time they didn't have time to take me to the operating theater to put me to sleep and all that niceness. So right on my bed, on the ward, I was cut open and a chest tube about this big
Was implanted?
placed inside of me.
Oh, Abby, I'm and this is 19.
Yes.
This is at 19 years old. Have you ever felt like I can't manage anymore?
Well, when my lungs collapsed and they were putting the chest tube in, the pain was so bad I was hallucinating. Listen, I don't know how to describe it to you, but it was so bad. I ended up being on oxygen for about 4 days straight. I couldn't sit up, I couldn't eat, I couldn't do anything on my own. And I'm not, at 19, I'm not used to this.
Yes.
I mean, wanting to use the bathroom and I have to call a nurse for a bedpan because I cannot walk. It was that bad. And in those moments, I prayed for strength, you know. I said, God, just please help me to get through this. I'm not ready to die. I don't want to go. So just help me to get through this. And I did recover from that. I went home trying to adjust. And 2 weeks after coming out of the hospital, I had my first brush with death. I was walking home. I was trying to hurry and get out of the rain. Rain was coming down. And it turned out I was walking a bit too fast, so my heart rate went up close to cardiac arrest zone, so my device had to kick in and snap me out of going into cardiac arrest. When I got that first shock as I stepped through the house, I looked back because I thought somebody kicked me in my back. That's how bad it was. I walked into the house and I got shocked like 4 more times. And in that moment, I was so scared because I have 5 older brothers and we're not the lovey-dovey, huggy type. And in that moment, I was so scared, I asked my brother to sit beside me and hold my hand. I've never done that in my entire life. We're just not that lovey-dovey type, but I needed a hand to hold just in case I was dying.
All right, so the apparatus that's placed inside of you to help you through this this disease is now kicking in. You're now actually seeing it work, feeling it work.
Yes.
Physically.
Yes.
I'm looking at you and I'm flabbergasted by what I'm hearing. What is your brother saying? What is he doing at this point?
At this point in time, we were sitting on the bed. He was holding my hand. I was holding his hand so tight. And when the device shocked me another time, he felt it. It ran through his body.
So you're holding his hand?
Yeah,
like
I was holding his hand. And when it shocked me, he felt it. It's that powerful. So in this moment, the device was actually saving my life, preventing me from going into cardiac arrest. But I thought I was dying. That's how terrible it felt. When the device finished shocking me and saving me, I took my phone and I messaged my doctor and I said, I'm coming in Monday morning. I take it out back because I don't bother want it. I cannot live with this. I can't. Listen, in an episode, I'll get like 5 or 6 shocks, couple seconds apart. And each of those shocks feel like a horse kicking you in the chest.
How often does this happen?
Not very often, thank God.
Yes, thank God.
Because I'm also on medication to help keep my heart rate low.
So were you on medication at that time, or was this just kind of...
I was on meds. But I guess...
your body was just getting used to it?
Yeah, just getting used to it. Yeah, so that happened. After I recovered from that, still trying to adjust and trying to pick up in school, I noticed that every day my chest area is looking weird. So thank God for technology.
In what way? As far as
it just started looking different, you know. So
skin tone.
Yeah, it was swelling.
Okay.
So I was taking pictures, sending to my doctor, and after a few days, when he saw the final photo, he said, "You need to come to see me." I went to see him, and it turned out that I was having an allergic reaction to the titanium. So
a foreign object in your body.
Yes. So the left area here on my chest, it was filled with fluid. So I had to travel to Kingston from Manchester to have it drained. This was a Friday. We drained it. I came home by the Sunday, filled with fluid again. So I had to be given medication and injections and all that jazz. Recovered from that. Started having pain in just one side of the wound where I did the surgery. Went to get checked. It turned out that a nerve was damaged during surgery. So...
You're talking about this very kind of like... I want to run, hug, jump, everything you like. You are we have to jump to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, more with this blessing before me, right here on Chasing Purpose. Welcome back to Chasing Purpose, heard right here on the Bridge 99 FM in Jamaica and in New York City. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, to be clear, on Irie Jam Radio. We are talking about defying the odds, the walking miracle over here, Miss Abi-Gaye Smythe. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to process what Abi-Gaye shared with us before going to the break. All right. Let's just fast forward, because I mean, this could be a whole like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4 with you. Despite all these obstacles that life has thrown at you, you seem so you're so positive. Like we were talking off camera, and you're joking, you're jovial, First of all, thank you for having the attitude. I mean, your outlook on this whole entire thing is such, I mean, I'm sure that plays a big part in your outcome, because now you're, what, 10 years now living with this? Give or take?
Yeah.
Well, no, longer. Because you did share with off camera that when you were a baby, that they knew something was wrong with your heart, but they didn't know what it was. Right. Your outlook, where does it come from?
Where does it come from? I think my outlook comes from my fear.
Your fear?
Yes. I have a fear of dying young and not fulfilling my purpose. So that drives me to be positive. It drives me to fight. And it drives me to do everything in my power to ensure that I live long enough to fulfill my purpose.
What is that purpose, you think?
My purpose, in the beginning, I didn't know exactly what it was, but being in the hospital, being diagnosed with this heart condition, having done 5 surgeries to date, with more to come, seeing other people going through same thing as me or worse than me, that made me want to do something to help other people.
Absolutely.
Because I remember one of my prayers being in the hospital, because when I was going to clinic, I saw other people with different types of heart disease, you know, and I said, God, if you bring me through this, I want to do something to help other people, and I want to raise awareness, because heart disease is the leading cause of death in Jamaica and in the world, and a lot of people don't know that. And a lot of these heart disease deaths are preventable, and I want to do my part in preventing even one of those deaths.
You for that. Thank you.
Yeah. So having gone through all of that, all my weak and vulnerable moments where I had to literally fight for my life, it has, when I was down in those moments, when I was down, sad, scared, vulnerable, it was in those moments that I really turned my pain into passion and purpose.
Wow.
Yeah, and I made the choice to turn my pain into passion and purpose. I mean, I could have turned my pain into anger and saying, God, why me every single day? But
Yes, you could have.
yeah, I decided to turn that into passion and purpose and use that to drive me. And I've gotten signs from God and people every single day that my purpose, a part of my purpose, is to raise awareness for heart disease and to help other people with heart disease, or people who don't have heart disease, to help them to prevent heart disease. I think that's a part of my purpose, and I've been walking deliberately in that since 2013.
You have there's a positive light about you, right? Just I'm sitting here and I'm processing, guys. So when you see me kind of ebb and flow, this is me kind of processing everything that Abi-Gaye is saying. Mind you, you know, she's living this. I'm just kind of learning this. So it's like it's wow. Wow. And she's such a beauty. Let me jump to this. So now we're the average 19-year-old. We have boyfriends, we have girlfriends. No, you now have to worry about making sure that you stay alive, and taking the steps to do so. So that's altering our meals, exercise, not overexerting ourselves, so on and so forth. Are you in a relationship at this point, or are you in a relationship now? And how does that affect your relationship, or your outlook on having a relationship? Is that a priority for you?
Well, let me point out that when I was 19, being diagnosed and all that jazz, the person I was with at the time, he had an issue with me being public about my story, and he also at one point said him no want no sicky woman. So yeah, the relationship ended. But anyways,
Oh, the ignorance of it all.
yeah, my condition has scared guys away from me. But currently, I've been in a relationship for almost 6 years. And he is such a supportive partner. I am so grateful for him. Since we've been together, I have done 3 surgeries. He hasn't missed one. He's at my bedside in a hospital every single day, twice a day. Washing my clothes, bringing me fresh clothes, cooking my meals, filling my prescriptions, all that. Yeah. So.
God bless him. Me like him. Me like you. How does it? What are your doctors saying about? Because you're wanting to do things. I'm sure maybe children, maybe a family that you may want eventually. What are the doctors saying about that?
Having kids is a risk because, one, having sex itself is a risk.
Right, because
it sends the heart rate
up and ting.
The possibility of getting shocked, we don't want that. So sex is a risk. Pregnancy is a risk. Pregnancy itself puts strain on the heart.
Right.
Only the left side of my heart is functioning to full capacity, so that's a risk. Wow. Even if I do get pregnant, I'd have to do C-section. I can't push. And there's a possibility of me passing the disease on to the child. And with my condition, it's progressive. So as I get older, science says it's going to get worse. So the older I get, the worse my heart may get. So having kids is that's a very big risk. And I'm honestly scared of taking that risk. Yeah, I'm scared of taking that risk. Yeah.
So as you're going through life, and you're out here talking and sharing, have you found a community with who you can share your story with, persons that have gone through this or know someone that's gone through this type of disease?
I don't know anyone personally in Jamaica with it. My doctor, he's a specialist in this area, and the last time I asked, he said there are probably 6 of us in Jamaica with it, but I've never met them. And he says I'm the youngest of the 6. I've never met them, but people, through sharing my story on social media publicly, a lot of people from overseas, people as far as Malaysia, the Netherlands have reached out to me, with the same thing, and seeing and reading my story have given them hope, and it inspires and motivates them. So I think that's my little community, But I'd love to meet and form a community with the ones here in Jamaica,
What is the one thing that you've learned most about yourself during this difficult period?
One thing I've learned about myself, I have learned how strong I am. Yes. I had no idea I had this level of strength. I had no idea. I mean, going through 5 surgeries, having near-death experiences, my device having to save my life, living on medication, having complications after complications. It is not easy. It has never been, it isn't, and it never will be easy. For the most part, I think I manage it well, especially given the fact that despite all that I am going through, I still want to help other people.
Oh, yeah.
And that is one of the reasons why I started my foundation, to raise awareness and to help other people.
When we come back, we're going to talk about Abi-Gaye's foundation. We're talking about defying the odds. I mean, this girl is walking and talking and doing it. And she's, when we come back from the break, we'll be right back right here on Chasing Purpose. Welcome back to Chasing Purpose. We are talking about defying the odds, and whether you are in Jamaica listening to us on the bridge, or if you're in New York, New Jersey, and or Connecticut listening to us on Irie Jam Radio, wherever you are in the world, you have to be touched by this amazing story. This is really a miracle. God all up in the mix. What I'm going to summarize here, Abby. There was an awareness. You were made aware that you had this disease. Your doctors and yourself sprung into action. And you hold yourself accountable. And let's talk about the accountability part of it. How do you hold yourself accountable as it pertains to staying healthy? You say you have to stay away from fatty foods in a world where, look, everything that we eat, everything that we consume has some sort of fat in it, or especially if you're a non-vegan, if you're not eating plant-based, they say it's not good for you. How do you hold yourself accountable?
While I do eat fast food sometimes, I don't make it a habit. I don't do it very often. To the point where it will be detrimental to my health. I ensure that I don't miss my doctor's appointments. I don't take my symptoms lightly, and my doctors don't either. So if I message my doctor at midnight and say, hey, I feel like something is wrong, they will take my call. I can assure you that. Yeah.
Thank God for that.
I don't take my symptoms lightly. I don't miss my appointments. I ensure that I eat healthy for the most part. Drink a lot of water, eat healthy foods, and do what I can to make my health a priority.
Recently, you got certified as a health and fitness instructor, which sounds like the total opposite of what you should be doing. When you told your doctor, did you share with your doctor that you wanted to become this? And what are the steps that you're putting in place to ensure that you're not going to upset your device?
I've been back and forth with my doctor over the years about being able to exercise. According to the science surrounding my heart condition, exercise speeds up the progression of my heart disease, which will cause my heart to deteriorate faster than it should. But through my doctor doing consultations with doctors overseas, with different specialists, and doing our own research and doing tests, I finally got the go-ahead to exercise under certain conditions. I have to strictly monitor my heart. I can't allow it to go above a certain level while exercising. So I started exercising, and after a while of being consistent, even my doctor is surprised and he's amazed that exercise is actually helping my heart. So
he's seen a difference, a change in the heart since you going on this fitness journey.
Yes. So before consistent exercise, when my heart rate would go up, it would stay up for a while.
Wow.
But with consistent exercise, now when my heart rate goes up, in less than a minute, it's back to a normal rate. My doctor is amazed. He is amazed.
Okay, what exercises are you doing?
So I can't do cardio. That's, that.
So there's no running?
No running, no jogging, none of that. I do mostly resistance exercises and strength training. So, for example, lower body, I'll do a lot of squats, lunges. For upper body, I'll do, like shoulder presses and stuff like that. I don't go overboard. I just keep it simple. But the key is remaining disciplined and consistent. And it has been working. So Whenever I exercise, I'd post it on my statuses on Instagram and WhatsApp, and people would reach out to ask if they can work out with me or if I can train them, but I wasn't certified. So I said, okay, I'll get certified and start helping people. And
I mean, this is a story within itself.
yeah, so when I started the course and learning stuff, I'm saying like, I think this is destiny, because a part of my main mission in life is to advocate for heart disease and to help prevent heart disease, and people who already have heart disease, help them to manage heart disease. So me being a fitness trainer is helping people to prevent or manage heart disease through exercise and healthy eating. So it ties back into my main purpose. So that's my mission.
Taken by I'm flabbergasted, I'm speechless by all of this. You have a heart foundation. Talk to us about that.
So it's called the Abi-Gaye Smythe I Have a Heart Foundation. And the idea for it came when I was lying on my back in a hospital bed in pain after my first surgery. I said, yeah, I have to start something to help other people. So I started it, and in the early years, most of the works was, advocacy. I used to do school tours where I'd tour high schools, I'd share my story, encourage young people to care for the hearts and stuff like that. In recent years, I formed a partnership with the Organization for International Development out of New York. And so far, together, we've helped 23 people receive free heart surgery here in Jamaica.
What?
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, and also something else that I've done, I've partnered with the National Blood Transfusion Service, and I host regular blood drives, because there's always a need for blood, and my fellow heart warriors, heart surgeries are done every single day, and a heart surgery requires a lot of blood, so I do what I can to ensure that there's blood in the blood bank for not only heart patients, but other people needing blood, premature babies, pregnant women, accident victims, cancer patients, So I do that. I have one coming up.
Yes, tell us about that.
It's June 4, Saturday, June 4 at the National Chest Hospital. And it's a collaboration with Karim Boyatings, So we've done a couple before together, and we're continuing that partnership to just do what we can to ensure that we keep our blood bank replenished, because there's always a need for blood, and a lot of people die due to a lack of blood. Another thing that I've done so far is I lobbied my way into a meeting with the Prime Minister, Most Honorable Andrew Holness, and I shared some of the concerns and the challenges with him within our cardiac sector here in Jamaica. And one of the major challenges was that there was a need for perfusionists. That's a person who controls a heart-lung machine during a heart surgery.
Oh.
There was a need for 2 at the UA hospital, and after that meeting, he announced publicly that he was touched by my story and all of that, and the government has offered 2 full scholarships for 2 individuals to be trained in perfusion medicine.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a long way to go, but yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah,
You have to start somewhere.
It's a
And
start.
you know what I'm hearing is the fact that, or what's important here is that you're sharing your story. You're getting out there. You're not listening to the ignorant boyfriend where you have to happy to your left. And sharing your story, because one, there's so much power in sharing your story. I'm sure that you're filled every time that someone reaches out to you, that you can help.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that while we're saying there's just 6 persons here, there may be more. They don't even know it.
Exactly.
So it's great that you're sharing your story. Oh my God, the importance of sharing a story is just, it's powerful, man. So, Abi-Gaye, what's next for Abi-Gaye?
What's next? More advocacy, more works. As the motto of my foundation says, we're improving lives one heart at a time. So that's what I'm working on. If it's something as simple as helping someone to improve their diet or to start working out, that is improving a life, and that's doing it one heart at a time. So that's something for me. I had finished university, as we had mentioned before, and my 1.98 GPA. I had managed to finish strong with a 3.23 GPA,
Alright.
being on Dean's List and all these things. Yeah, and I managed to start working. That was a concern for my doctors in the beginning,
I'm
but
sure.
yeah, I was working. I was a former journalist, former news presenter. I still do it part-time. I work as a communications consultant, voiceover talent, and I just want to do more and be more. My main goal is to make an impact, to touch lives. Yeah.
That you have, and that you will continue to do.
Yeah, that's my main purpose, and that's what I'm deliberately chasing. I'm chasing that purpose on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, you have left me speechless, and anybody know me can't talk. You have left me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you. And your mother, I'm certain, is your guardian angel and is super proud.
Yeah.
Your family on a whole super proud of you. I don't know you from Adam, and I'm proud.
Thank you.
Of you. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Continue to do what you do.
I definitely will.
So June 4th, National
Chest
Hospital. For those who are overseas, how can they donate?
So you can find the foundation on any social media platform at IHA Foundation. That's IHAH Foundation. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to contact me directly, it's This Is Abs, THISIZABZ, and we can talk from there.
Yes. Please reach out if you can. Please donate. My Irie Jam family, please find it within your heart. I know that's one thing about my Irie Jam family. Whenever we ask for something, you guys really step up to the plate. So please, I'm asking to donate whatever you can to this amazing cause. Abi-Gaye, thank you for being a part of Chasing Purpose. We're going to have her back. She'll be back. Don't you worry.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for being here. Life can change for the good or the challenging in a matter of seconds. I believe your mindset and your beliefs play a major part in how you navigate these challenges, whether it be your health or even a relationship. Being aware, taking positive action, holding yourself accountable will determine whether you attract a negative or positive outcome and determine how you defy the odds. As always, sow seeds others can benefit from. Wishing you love, light, and purpose.